What is a law? Is it ink on paper? A decree from an emperor? Or is it something deeper? Something forged in blood, loyalty, and the quiet understanding between warriors? During Japan's most violent and chaotic era, the Sengoku, or Warring States period, one clan would be defined not by the laws they wrote down, but by the code they lived and died for. This is the story of how a modern mind witnessed the birth of those unwritten laws. The year is 1575. Japan is not a unified nation, but a chessboard of ambition. Hundreds of clans, led by powerful warlords known as daimyo, fight for land, for honor, for survival. The Ashikaga shogunate has collapsed. The emperor is a powerless figurehead in Kyoto. In this crucible of conflict, our story begins. Not with a samurai, but with a man out of time. Dr. Kinjiro Tanaka, a historian who, through a freak accident of science, finds himself stranded 400 years in the past. For Kinjiro, this was the stuff of textbooks. Now, it was terrifyingly real. He didn't see romantic warriors. He saw hard men, their faces etched with the realities of constant war. He is discovered, and his strange clothes and speech mark him as an outsider, a spy, or worse, a ghost. He is brought before the clan's leader, Lord Ishikawa Kaido, a man whose presence commands absolute silence. Kinjiro expected summary execution. In his time, justice was a complex machine of courts and lawyers. Here, he witnessed the first unwritten law, Rectitude, the absolute principle of doing the right thing. A desperate man is not always a wicked one. Where is his family? What has become of his fields? Ishikawa investigates further, discovering the peasant's land was flooded and the local tax collector was corrupt. The peasant isn't executed. He's given work. The tax collector is punished instead. Kinjiro realizes this isn't arbitrary power. It's a profound, personal responsibility for justice. The law wasn't an abstract concept. It was the daimyo's character. Kinjiro, with his 21st century mindset of individualism and self-interest, watches this with confusion. Why would they remain loyal to a small clan when a larger one offers so much more? The answer was Chu¥, loyalty. It wasn't just a duty, it was an unbreakable bond. My life is yours. You gave my family a name and a purpose when we had none. That is a debt gold cannot repay. Loyalty wasn't bought, it was earned. Through respect, shared hardship, and the knowledge that your lord would die for you, just as you would for him. For the Ishikawa clan, betrayal wasn't just a crime. It was unthinkable, a stain upon one's very soul. Courage, Kinjiro learned, wasn't the absence of fear. It was acting in spite of it. He saw it in the eyes of the young Ishigaru, the foot soldiers, gripping their spears with white knuckles. This was you, courage. But it was a specific kind of courage. We do not fight for land today. We fight for the morning, for our children to see the sunrise. Do not fear death. Fear a life lived without honor. It was courage in the service of Rectitude. You fight bravely because the cause is just. This transformed the act of violence into a solemn duty. In the world Kinjiro came from, a defeated enemy was humiliated. Here, he witnessed Meiyo honor, a vivid consciousness of one's personal dignity and worth. You fought for your lord as a samurai should. There is no shame in that. The enemy general, overwhelmed by this act, is offered a choice: join them or be allowed to return to his master. Honor wasn't just about how you fought, but how you handled victory and defeat. It was the currency of reputation, more valuable than any castle. Kinjiro saw how this act could turn a bitter enemy into a future ally. This was the final, and perhaps most important, unwritten law, Benevolence. The warrior code was not just for the battlefield. A true samurai, a true leader, must be compassionate. You command such loyalty. Your laws, they are not written anywhere, yet everyone knows them. A written law can be bent. It can be broken in secret. But a code, etched on the heart, that is a man's true measure. We protect the people, Kinjiro-san, and in turn, they are our strength. This is our law. Kinjiro was never able to return to his time. He lived out his days as an advisor to the Ishikawa clan, a silent observer to history. The clan, guided by its powerful unwritten code, not only survived the Sengoku period but thrived, becoming renowned for its integrity and strength. Their laws were never carved in stone, but they were more enduring. They were lived. They became a legacy. The principles of Bushido, rectitude, loyalty, courage, honor, and benevolence would eventually be written down, centuries later. But their true power was never in the words. It was in the actions of those who understood that a code isn't something you read. It's something you are.